We're recording. Okay, so like I was telling you guys, the setup is this is for membership, and we do this the first Friday of every month, and I'm trying to highlight members that are doing non-traditional things, and you both of you are relatively new members, and know while I know very like intricate details about your program, membership just knows what they see on postings and social media. So they don't know anything about the journey. A lot of them do not. And so I just wanted to kind of start there. And I don't care who starts, but kind of how did you get to where how did Operation Mist come to be?
So I got postpartum preeclampsia when I was delivering my baby, when I delivered my baby this time. And during that time, it was just really a scary time where I wasn't really sure how my health was going to shake out. And I didn't have the support of the OBGYN or any of the healthcare providers that were assigned to me. And so when you sent me a watch saying, hey, I can look out for you, it made all the difference in the world. And Jessica is so amazing that we met a few years ago, but then she ended up taking a course that I teach on moms, and I got to know her really, really, really well. And so when a grant opportunity came about to write for something that we could do with wearable technology, I reached out to her and was like, this is what I think we should do. Do you want to do it together? And she said yes. And so it was cool because we were able to, or we are able to now be to other people what you were to me during the scariest time of my life.
Well, let's dive into that because I don't even think people know that. And I have to say, I will get to the point where you guys won that seed grant on your own. I had nothing, like, I removed myself from the conversation. We'll get to that. So, and then I want to know, Jessica, what you said when she called. But, so, but I don't think people know, Catherine, that you and I are friends. Actually, both of you live in Georgia. Jessica's in the Atlanta area. Catherine's down a little bit south in the Macon area, and that you and I knew each other, and that we had talked about your health, and we were in at the time in the middle of the PT health study.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so I was like, why don't you just sign up for PT health study and you can watch your data and that can add as a layer to your understanding of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that said, what being in your current health at that time, what did that wearable device do for you?
Oh my gosh, it did so much, Perry, because I'm a mom that just loves to be with my kids 24/7. And to not, so if I had not been wearing the watch, I would have stayed up all night breastfeeding my baby and been really, really happy doing it. And with the watch reflecting that doing that was not allowing me to get adequate rest, I had to make the objective decision to pump a bottle and give it to my husband so that he could feed the baby so that I could get sleep through the night. And then I love to exercise. And as much as I ease back into exercise after having the baby, even what I thought was easy was not easy on my body. And so since then, I've been able to change the way that I work out. So instead of running or doing a lot of cardio, like right back to back, I do circuits and my body handles it a lot better. And so I would have been unknowingly doing things to hurt myself because my body wasn't telling me that anything was wrong. And then in the face of blood pressures that were really, really high and a doctor telling me that I wasn't going to recover, I was able to look down at my watch and say, you know what, I'm doing pretty good. And so it was great because I was then empowered to follow the provider that I needed, to find the provider that I needed. So I ended up self-referring to a kidney doctor, and that was what I needed to do. And so I was able to go to that kidney doctor, but also make sure that my data was okay, and have the assurance that I was okay. Because, not until this conversation did I realize that at some point in my postpartum journey, I made the switch from being afraid that I might not make it to realizing that I was going to be okay. And so I think that the watch gave me that assurance, and I knew that it was tied to you. And even though it was like you loved me as if I was your sister. You know what I'm saying? And so even during the times when you weren't actively reaching out, I knew that you were watching, and that gave me a lot of assurance.
We're going to hold that emotional piece, because I think that's what I want to talk about, how you do that for y'all do that for your moms. I'm going to shift to laughter because
I cry all the time.
Because I'll start crying too, and then it'll be a nightmare. Jessica, tell me where you were when Katherine called. We sort of talked about it a little bit last night, how you were like, she's doing what? This does what? So, because I think it's important for membership to know that projects like yours happen when you are unafraid to say yes and try it. And so to me, that is how I view you, as a person who was unafraid to say yes. So tell membership about you, where you are in your career, and what you did when Katherine called.
Okay, I'm kind of sort of still a new grad PT. I graduated in the middle of the pandemic, May 2020. And like Katherine said, I took her comprehensive course about treating women throughout pregnancy and postpartum. And you got me still emotional, excuse me. And so after taking her course, I was just really inspired. I knew I wanted to help moms, and specifically moms of color, just because of the maternal health crisis. And I was just tired of seeing the statistic of Black women dying 3 times more than their white counterparts. I was just tired of that. And when Katherine approached me with a solution, I just could not say no. But I was very confused at how it works. I'm like, what is wearable technology and how are they doing this? But she broke it down to me. But I was going to be down to help her with it anyway, because I trust Katherine and I know her intents are always genuine. And when somebody like that, who is also very educated and motivating and inspiring, approaches you with something that you're also is equally interested in and passionate about, you just can't say no. So I just said yes, and I just been down to be on this journey since. I'm sticking with it.
Well, what's interesting to me, and what piece you bring to me, is something that I cannot articulate, and I'll kind of talk through a woman's lens, is that I think when we become mothers, which you are not, we realize we have to re-strategize if we want to do certain things in our life. And so Katherine and I have talked about, there's just no such thing as work-life balance. It's just it's the same thing. And that we don't overwork, but I don't even know how to describe it. It's just one thing. It's just everything is one thing. And it took me being a mother until I figured that out. What's interesting to me, Jessica, and I would like your kind of view on it, I think with new emerging professionals, it's very scary to think about dividing your time. So you, just to let membership know, you have a full-time job that you're about to go into this morning in a clinical setting. yet you still manage to do outreaches and look at your dashboard and troubleshoot with these mothers. So, what is your day like? Like, what is that like? And is it like, how does it make you feel to be doing those things during the day?
Let me just preface this by saying I would prefer to be doing this full time. Okay. So this is not like a chore to me. And I think that's important for anybody who's listening. If you wanna, do more with health promotion and prevention, you can't just do it just to do it. You have to find that population that you are most passionate about, and it's not like work. So I am super passionate about the women that we serve. So it's easy to balance it all. And I just wake up and I look at my dashboard. Like on my late days like this, I'm able to look at it more in the morning. On my early days, I'm able to look at it more in the evenings. When I'm at work, I always have my phone on my desk and my dashboard up on my work laptop. I can go back and forth. If somebody reaches out to me and I have time in between, I can do that. And it's really a cool and easy flow. And a lot of my like one-on-one like phone calls and FaceTimes is usually after work or like on the weekends when I have more time. But it's an easy balance when what you're doing is something that you're passionate about.
Yeah, I think that's so poignant. Okay, now I want to get to like what you're doing, and for lack of a better way to describe to membership who understand, you basically customize the model of PT health study for your population. Now, I want to let y'all's outreaches are a lot better than a lot more comprehensive than the PT health study outreaches. So y'all providing a lot more love than we did. But Katherine, going back to your point, I mean, so here you are, a healthcare provider, and the feeling that you got to be able to talk to your physician and say, you know what, no, I think I'm doing pretty well. What have you heard from the mothers kind of in that vein? Like, because these are women, a lot of these women are not healthcare professionals, and tell the membership the states so far that you're serving.
So if I leave one out, Jessica, let me know. But Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, New York, North Carolina, and Ohio.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
In Texas.
And Texas, we keep forgetting about Texas. Yeah. And so what do they say to you guys? What, because I use the word health advocate. I think that's what you guys are, you're using technology to be a health advocate. But and their feelings are just as strong as yours. Like, what does that do for you guys?
It's so amazing. It's so amazing to think that you can empower someone through the data on their watch, but the connection that is created because of that. Because if we just sent the moms the watch and then we didn't have the connection, then I don't think that they would reach out as frequently. They wouldn't trust us with a lot of the things that they tell us. But they talk about the feeling of being safe, feeling protected, feeling empowered, feeling even so the things that we love helping moms avoid, like the complications that we love helping moms avoid, that's one side of the coin. But the other side of the picture is when a mom is able to walk into a situation and say, you know what, I know that this may not be the best thing for me, and I know that my data says that I'm okay, but I am truly tired of this pregnancy. So I just want to go ahead and have this baby removed. Or I realize that I have a vaginal infection. So it is safer for my baby for me to have the baby surgically removed. And it is that empowerment, I think, that where a mom can walk in with her eyes wide open and the data is hers, and she realizes that this person is not trying to push me in one direction or the other. She's just trying to help me make an informed decision, and I've never been given that opportunity before.
Wow.
So it is the best feeling in the world for the moms to say that to us.
Wow. Wow. Jessica, how, as a new emerging professional, how is guiding these women a juxtaposition against what you do in the clinic during the day? Like, was it difficult to shift to guiding them and not treating, or like explain that? Explain how your mind shifts back and forth, you know?
I like what Katherine said about guiding them to make informed health decisions, because to be quite honest, like, I'm not a mom. A lot of the things that they would come to me about with questions about, I've never experienced.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I was feeling so much like a novice, like not even just like as a new grad PT, but just like as a woman. I was like, wow, I didn't know all of these things were going on. So thank God I have like you two to go to, but it still is like a big transition for me. But it's good for me to realize that I'm just an advocate and a guide for them. I'm not trying to go into a scope of practice that is not my own.
Right.
But it is allowing me to do more research and to learn more, to be able to help them make those informed decisions, and to realize it's okay for me not to have all of the answers.
Yes.
But just to help them guide themselves into, making the right decision. So
Yeah.
it's like a roller coaster up and down, because the things that they bring to me, a lot of the times I'm like, whoa, what is going on?
You know what? Go ahead, Jessica.
But I have their data to confirm, like in those emergent situations where it could be something when they're in distress, right? So I can confirm or deny that they look fine on the data, or something is of concern. So
yeah,
I just fall back on the data and what I know.
Yeah.
Right. And I was going to say that as a mom, and just in a part of what we do is sometimes they just don't know what questions to ask. Mm-hmm. So they're in distress. That is, or if they feel like they're in distress, that's not the end of the story. If they're fine and their doctor is saying, you know what, I think it's time to take this baby out. Your body is in distress. You've been pregnant for 40 weeks. They can now say, actually, my body is not in distress. Mm-hmm. So what you can do for me, though, is make sure that my baby is not in distress. Mm-hmm. because I now know that you can do that. Mm-hmm. A lot of moms did not know that. If they are told that their body's in distress, their first thought is, my baby is in distress. That's right. So if I'm in distress, I cannot take care of my baby. And what they now know is that they can check that out. So now, instead of going in weekly and wondering, am I okay? And all you're checking is am I dilated, or am I getting closer to delivery? No, you can hook a monitor up and make sure that my baby's doing fine too. Mm-hmm. So we're helping moms ask the questions that they need to ask to make informed decisions, because it's not just enough for them to know my data is off. So for instance, there was a mom and she was just tired all the time. She was tired making up her bed. And so her oxygen was low on the dashboard, and she was just not charging, just not recovering well. And so when she went in to get to her regular office visit, we told her to get her hemoglobin checked. And when she got it checked, she realized that it was low. And now every time before an appointment, she texts me, are there any labs that I need to be checked? Yep. Ask them to check your B12, ask them to recheck your hemoglobin, ask them to check. And so it's just, and then she gets it checked. And she comes back home feeling good about where she is. And then she's able to say, okay, well, I'm not charging. So then we can have the conversation of why. And so, Jessica, I love the mom that you told, work is stressing you. Work may be what's causing you to have a hard time. And then you help that mom take the steps to get out of work a little bit early so that she could have a safer end of her pregnancy. And so it's like, it's not just helping moms feel empowered, it is empowering them to take the steps that follow their data.
Yes, yes, yes. And your outcomes are phenomenal, just providing decision support. Isn't that Because, like in tertiary care, which is where we operate traditionally as physical therapists, I often say it's just education. There's no communication. We're just telling them, do this, do this, do this, do this.
Right.
But what you guys have created is communication through decision support. The moms are still ultimately making the decisions, right? And making the calls about their own pregnancies and deliveries. But your outcomes are so good because you're empowering their own decisions through your decision support. It's quite remarkable. It's so much like we did some cool things in PT Health Say, but y'all have just kind of taken the dashboard to a new, very, very meaningful level. Okay, to wrap up, because I know Jessica's got to go to work, and Katherine, you have a big day today. Talk about just the amount of commitment and work, any barriers, because I think a lot of people think they don't see the journey. They don't see the journey. So, and I know that you're in the build phase right now. So what does it feel like? I hate to say how much work is it, but like just try to give a sense that it's just not the operation, like you're building as you're doing. So try to explain that.
Well, that has been a journey for me because I would, if I could have, I would have wanted everything to be just right before we got started. Like, let's plan this out and how it's going to be, and then let's start. But it's been ever since we won the seed grant, it's just been growing as we go. And this has been a lot for me personally to accept just on the organization level. But I will say that every day, every week, things change in a better way. And we're able to like balance what we do, and things are starting to make more sense. Because at the beginning, it was a lot of, things that were not just clear. Like we were going with the flow, doing what we could do, helping who we can. And, people started that were on our dashboard, started telling other moms, and we got more referrals, and, more organizations wanted to bring different moms. And like I said, every day just gets better and better, but it's definitely growing pains. It's not easy at all. And I think we've changed the way we like document like our outreaches with moms like a billion times. And we also like send out educational moms every week. So those emails that we have to draft and make, and we've changed those, and we've got students to help us with that. And we thought the students were going to help with something different in the beginning, but we changed that. So it's just been a journey, and it's still kind of changing, but like I said, it's always getting better. And I'm up for the shift. And I think COVID kind of helped too. Excuse me. Was just being able to like shift and mend as things grow, because that's what you have to do in a clinical setting anyway.
It's true. It's true. It's constant refinement. It's a vicious cycle of refinement, I feel. But you're not stationary, like you're rolling as you're refining. So Katherine, you're a woman, wife, and mother. Like, what is your family? Is it like, are they just like, talk to me about that? Like,
So my son, every morning he says, "Mommy, have you checked the dashboard? How are your moms?" And so I realized that if you incorporate your family into it, then it becomes all of our moms, right? And so on the days when we are super busy, like right now, we're preparing for a pitch competition. So day in and day out for the last 4 or 5 days, this is all I've been doing. And they'll bring me food and then head right back out. And, we coordinate naps so that I can get as much done as possible. But still, I take walks with my daughter. I do homework with my son. So it's a really good way to just feel gratified in what I'm doing all the way around. But I will say, like, just it has helped me get out of my comfort zone. It was like there was one conversation that we had about making sure we get information out. And so we said one month, you know what? We are going to have to do Instagram and we are going to have to do a podcast. It does not matter if we don't have the time to do it. We are just deciding that we're going to do it. And we did it. And it was because of a couple of social media posts that we've been able to help a lot of moms who may not even be on the dashboard. Now they just feel confident reaching out to us and we're able to help them. And then with the podcast, we just completed our first interview on Monday. And it's like, was Monday the best day to do it? Who knows? Right? But it got done because we now have the mindset that this is a season that we need to go through so that we can ultimately do what we feel we are being called to do. And so a year from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now, we will be able to say we did everything that we could to put ourselves in the best position for people to see what we're doing so that moms can know what we're doing. And as long as that stays our goal, then I think that all of the growing pains are bearable. They're all bearable.
The hero's journey is not organized and planned. That's all. That is what I will end on. And I think you all are on the hero's journey. Yes.
Yeah.
So what inspiring things do you have to tell to membership? Anybody that's sitting there going, and it doesn't have to be with scissors, just anything that's on their brain and in their heart. What would you tell them?
The world is waiting for this.
Ooh.
It's not just moms. There are populations that need to be closely monitored and need guidance to make better decisions. And they're waiting on us to step up to the plate.
Jessica, what you got?
That was so good. I would honestly say, especially from doing this with M.I.S.T and just listening to Katherine's story and how she shifted from being afraid for her life to feeling empowered that she can live, it's literally that simple for any population, for us to serve as health advocates, to allow them to have the hope and the belief that they can have control over their health. Because I think a lot of times with the bad statistics, with getting all the negative health reports, people feel like they have no control over the destiny of their health. And something as simple as for us being monitored with the watch and connecting with a health advocate can give people the hope that I can do this. I can have control over my health outcomes. And it helps people, it helps patients or clients become better managers of their own health, which is what we should be doing in physical therapy and healthcare anyway.
True.
Amen.
True. All right, Miss Ladies. I have to promote a little bit, just so that membership knows, in case they know of anybody. You guys still have a few devices that can be granted to Black and Native American women who want to get pregnant or are currently pregnant. And for right now, while we're waiting on additional funding, if there is a woman who wants to pay, then you guys have set up a membership pack, or just a package for them to go to your website, operationmist.org, and contact you guys, and you'll develop a package for them. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Operation M.I.S.T. All right. Thank you.
Katherine.